Intel's Ohio 1 project in New Albany, a 1,000-acre monolith that was supposed to be the Silicon Heartland, is currently a $28 billion monument to delays, layoffs, and broken promises. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't a slow-motion prediction for the next decade. This is Intel's flagship semiconductor manufacturing site, led by construction giant Bechtel. And as of March 2026, the dream of American chip independence has hit a wall so thick that the completion date has been pushed back by 5 entire years. Imagine standing in a field in New Albany, Ohio, in the Columbus metropolitan area, in September 2022. You've got the President of the United States calling it a moment of American genius. You've got the CEO of Intel promising that cutting-edge 18A and 14A chips will be rolling off the line by 2025. You've got thousands of workers ready to build America's answer to TSMC. Now, fast forward to today, the CEO has been forced out, the 2025 deadline is gone, the 2027 deadline is gone. The new target? 2030. The numbers are catastrophic. A $28 billion investment that is currently generating 0 chips. 40,000 layoffs across the company in just 2 years. A $7.86 billion federal grant that was announced with a parade but sat at $0 received for years. Ohio's $600 million state grant, which requires completion by December 2028, is now mathematically impossible to meet, creating a clawback crisis that could kill the project entirely. This isn't just a strategic slowing. This is a $28 billion house trap that has the governor of Ohio in a state of absolute panic. This is the story of how the most important infrastructure project in America turned into a financial graveyard, and why the Silicon Heartland is looking more like a steel desert. Let's look at the math, because the math is where the state narrative meets the forensic reality. When Intel first announced this site in January 2002, they pegged the cost at $20 billion. By early 2025, that figure had ballooned to over $28 billion. Intel's stated ambition was to eventually turn this into a $100 billion hub with 8 different factories manufacturing their most advanced 18A and 14A process node chips. But while the press releases were promising a revolution, the ledger was bleeding. In 2003, Intel missed multiple quarterly earnings targets. The stock, which peaked near $60 a share during the groundbreaking period, entered a freefall that didn't stop until it hit a low of $18 in early 2025. That is a 70% collapse in value for a company that the US government has effectively partially nationalized for national security reasons. How did a $28 billion project fail this spectacularly? The answer lies in the policy villain of this story, the IDM 2.0 strategy that was supposed to revolutionize American chip manufacturing. Pat Gelsinger, the former CEO who was brought in to save the company, tried to do something enormously difficult. He tried to transform Intel from a company that designs and makes its own chips into a contract foundry that makes chips for everyone else, competing directly with TSMC in Taiwan and Samsung's struggling Texas operations. This was enormously capital intensive. It required Intel to spend tens of billions on new factories in Ohio and Arizona, while their existing product business was losing revenue to Nvidia and AMD. It was a $100 billion bet made with money Intel didn't have. And by late 2004, the board of directors realized the pace of transformation was inadequate. Gelsinger was given a choice: retire or be fired. He left on December 1, 2024, leaving behind a half-finished campus in New Albany and a state government that had already handed over $600 million in taxpayer grants. Now, let's talk about the CHIPS Act trap, because this is where the doom and data really gets dark. In March 2024, the Biden administration announced that Intel would receive the largest single allocation of the $52 billion CHIPS Act subsidies, up to $8 billion in direct grants and $11 billion in loans. But here is the policy loophole. That announcement was a non-binding preliminary memorandum. It wasn't cash in the bank. In October 2024, a frustrated Pat Gelsinger admitted to investors that Intel had received exactly $0 in actual disbursements. Why? Because the grants were tied to construction milestones that Intel was failing to hit. By the time the deal was finally signed, in November 2024, the grant had been cut from $8.05 billion to $7.86 billion. By August 2025, the government quietly dropped the original milestone requirements entirely, after effectively taking a stake in the company, and Intel secured an accelerated $5.07 billion early payout under a reshaped deal. The human cost of this negligence is being felt by every worker in the Licking County ecosystem. At the height of the build-out, Intel projected 7,000 construction jobs, but drone footage from early 2000-2006 shows that the site is a skeleton crew compared to the promised peak. Only about 1,000 workers are on site daily. The strategic slowing has effectively frozen the local economy. New Albany, Ohio is in a fiscal crisis. The city positioned itself as a high-tech hub, with 80% of its general fund coming from commercial income taxes, Much of that revenue was projected to come from the Intel ecosystem. If those factories don't open until 2030, New Albany is facing a 5-year budget hole that no amount of property tax can fill. In July 2020, 5 Licking County officials held nothing back. "This can't be more disappointing," said one official. Intel executive Naga Chandrasekaran, who issued the official delay memo, has remained the primary spokesperson defending the timeline adjustments. And then there is the TSMC contrast. This is the tale of two fabs. While Intel was pushing its Ohio deadline from 22,000 to 2030, TSMC was proving that high-end manufacturing is possible in America. In late 2025, TSMC's Arizona Fab 21 achieved strong yield rates on its most advanced chips, setting records that exceeded performance at some of TSMC's existing Taiwan plants. TSMC became profitable in America while Intel was still trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. Why is TSMC winning? Because they have external customers. Apple, Nvidia, and AMD have already committed to the Arizona fabs. Intel's foundry division, on the other hand, had no major external customers to justify the $28 billion investment in Ohio. Lip-Bu Tan, the new CEO who took over in March 2025, has been blunt. He stated that the Ohio 14A process node fabs will only proceed if Intel can win meaningful external foundry customers. The $28 billion commitment is now conditional on commercial success. The state of Ohio is literally waiting for Intel to find a customer before they finish the building. The broader implications for the United States are devastating. The US currently produces only 10% of the global semiconductor supply. TSMC in Taiwan manufactures over 90% of the world's most advanced chips. If China ever disrupts that supply, the American economy collapses in an afternoon. The CHIPS Act was supposed to be the seismic reinforcement for our economy. But if Intel fails to deliver the Ohio fabs, the US remains fully dependent on foreign-owned companies for its most critical technology. Even though TSMC is building in Arizona, they're a Taiwanese company. Intel is the only US-owned player with the potential to produce sub-10 nm chips. If Ohio 1 becomes a ghost campus, the United States has no plan B for technological sovereignty. Let's look at the financial slaughterhouse. In July 2025, under Lip-Bu Tan's brutal reset, Intel laid off an additional 25,000 employees. They canceled $10 billion in factory projects globally, including Germany and Poland. They were forced to sell a 51% controlling stake in their Altera division to private equity for $8.75 billion, a division they had originally acquired for $16.07 billion. That is an effective multi-billion-dollar loss just to raise the cash needed to keep the lights on in Ohio. Meanwhile, Intel's remaining government lifeline comes from their $3 billion Secure Enclave program with the Department of Defense. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, met with Intel in July 2025 and publicly reaffirmed his commitment, but the underlying data shows the state is in a legal house trap. Ohio's $600 million grant came with a condition. The fabs had to be complete by December 31, 2028. As of today, that is mathematically impossible. The state now has to decide whether to claw back those grants, which would effectively kill the project, or renegotiate from a position of total weakness. The Leaning Tower of San Francisco, the Pancake Tower of Surfside, and now the stalled fab of Ohio. They are all symptoms of the same disease, a system that prioritizes groundbreaking ceremonies and political optics over structural integrity and commercial reality. Intel's stock has gradually recovered from its $19 low to around $22 in early 2026 as the company stabilizes under Lip-Bu Tan. But the Tan doctrine is ugly. It is a doctrine of survival, not growth. The company is smaller, leaner, and essentially a ward of the state. The moment of American genius that Biden promised has become a moment of national humiliation. The drone footage doesn't lie. The site is there, the shells of the buildings are there, but the spirit of the project is gone. Intel says it could accelerate construction if customer demand warrants, but that is corporate speak for we're waiting to see if anyone shows up. The Ohio campus is years away from being anything more than a concrete skeleton. The question is no longer when will Intel open in Ohio. The question is what happens to the US economy when the only domestic chip maker is too broke to build its own future. Across the country, other states are watching. Every 9 minutes and 21 seconds, a resident leaves a failing state like Illinois. They are fleeing the same policy failures that led to the Ohio mess. If you are an investor, a taxpayer, or an Ohio resident, the message is clear. Verify the foundation. Don't trust the ribbon-cutting photos. And certainly, don't trust a corporate strategy that bets the farm on money that hasn't been dispersed yet. The Silicon Heartland is a $28 billion warning sign, and it's pointing right at the heart of the American dream. The Golden Arches left Chicago, Boeing left for Virginia, and Intel's Ohio promise has left the rails of reality.